Thanks for joining us. This is Gregory Mikell for Being Social, Episode 3, The Student Loan Crisis. If you missed last week's episode, you'll find Episode 2 hosted at gregorymikell.com, Mikell, as well as Vimeo and YouTube. Or simply via your search engine, try podcast Being Social, Racial Profiling. We had some great callers last week that gave very interesting insight, so I challenge you tonight to do the same. I chose the topic of the student loan crisis, one, because I'm a byproduct of that crisis, and two, it's been so prevalent in the news lately. Why, you may ask? I'm thinking campaign season is over. The one main question that looms in my mind is, how can you not invest in education? The future generations that you expect to remain a first-rated developed country, and you're not investing in the people who sustain the country. It goes back to greed, self-interest, and lobbying. But that's another conversation and another program. Now, there are two recent articles in the news that I think you'll find interesting, just this week, in fact. One captioned, "High Student Debt Poses Risk to Growth." Federal Reserve says, really? Because I'm thinking, you just noticed that? This has been going on for more than a decade. Before 2008 and the economy tanked, this problem has been here, and the interest has been compounding and compounding and compounding before the housing crisis. So now you shout it from the rooftops that you're outraged. Where were you on the party line when you kept stepping over the fence and back again and changing party affiliations simply because it suited your needs at the time to get back in office and do nothing? But that's just my opinion because, well, no one else is called in to contest that, so I get to go on a tangent. My apologies. No, I don't apologize. I mean everything I just said. All right, there's another that reads, and it's become the norm. Shane Gill, a 33-year-old high school teacher in New York City. He does not have a car. He does not have a home. He is not married. And he is no anomaly. Like hundreds of thousands of others in his generation, he has put off such major purchases or decisions in part because of his debt. Now, Mr. Gill owes about $45,000 in federal student loans. Lucky you. Plus another $40,000 to his parents. That investment in his future has led to a secure job with decent pay and good benefits, but it has left him with tremendous financial constraint as he faces chipping away at the debt for years on end. Well, Shane, I have news for you, bud. You're not the only one. And my debt is actually higher than yours. Not that I don't empathize. Of course I do. That's why I'm doing this, because I'm as frustrated as you are. I've been paying on my graduate and undergraduate consolidated student loans for a long time and made no. It's amazing because in certain parts of the country where the cost of living is considerably less, the cost of education is more than the cost of a three-bedroom home. And that's absurd that 35 years on a standard or 30 years on a standard mortgage and 20 to 25 on your student loans. So by the time you finish paying off the student loans, you're already half of your life is gone. So it's like it's amazing to me that this country is not doing more when we have the capacity. And I'm not talking putting the onus on private corporations because we shouldn't have to. It's not their responsibility. There are times, one of the major issues, of course, in the recent presidential campaign was, the parties were divided, how much government should be present, in our lives. Well, this is a case where the government has an obligation. You cannot pass the buck on the citizens. This is your obligation. This is why you serve in public office, to take care of the Commonwealth, of the nation. And you're failing. You haven't done that. So now it's time to get back to business. Everyone's elected, the elections, whatever, sequestering, whatever, get back to the basics. If you would like to email in, even though the podcast will be ending soon, no one came out in the air the first hour, I had to voice this because it infuriates me. Not just because it's my problem, but so many people that I know, even if you didn't go to college, don't have this debt. I challenge you not to know at least two people in your circle of family or friends who are not dealing with this issue right now. It's not just the new generations coming out of college this month. I'm talking decades ago that are still dealing with this. And debt collectors, we all know debt collectors who will do ruthless and unforgivable, inhumane things, extortion, lie, cheat, steal from you to get money back. So if you guys have opinions, even after the podcast is over and you listen to this, email in to us, and we can touch on this topic again next month. So I just had to voice this because it's something that's important to me, and I know that it's important to other people. I'm just infuriated that it's taken this long for the news to really bring it to bear. Now, while you're visiting acclaimtheatricals.com, feel free to sign up for the monthly newsletter where you'll be provided with next month's broadcast programming. Upcoming listings can also be found on IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. In fact, we'll not broadcast this coming week, but we'll return instead on May 31st at our usual time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with a special guest that I think you'll want to tune in for. It'll be very interesting, and you'll be able to call in live and ask questions throughout the program. A side note, one of America's most renowned actors, Morgan Freeman, recently friended me on Facebook. So, with any luck, if you're listening, Mr. Freeman, I would be honored to have you come on air and join us for a session, as I'm sure that you have a great deal of wisdom to impart to aspiring and established actors. When you visit our site and click on the Eventbrite logo, they are not, however, our sponsors, but they host a variety of events such as this, and in brick and mortar locations. You'll be taken to our program list and reservations, where you'll find a description of upcoming episodes and links to upcoming guest profiles. Another side note, I had the pleasure earlier this evening of attending a SAG Foundation talkback with the talented veteran actor and gentleman Keith Carradine. What a great storyteller this guy is. That explains his talent. What a dedicated and classy guy. I'm also trying to get Mr. Carradine to come on the program, so do subscribe to our channels. You can view the entire taped conversation via the SAG Foundation website on YouTube, as well as on our Twitter feed handle, Acclaim Theatric, later this week. This is Gregory Mikell, your host and moderator for the weekly live on-air broadcast of Being Social, Episode 3. By the way, a new densely packed episode of my online entertainment talk show, On the Town, will release tomorrow on the various channels, which you're welcome to subscribe to. It's densely packed with theater, music, concerts, a host of things that will bring you up to speed on the current theater season and entertainment season in Manhattan if you're planning a trip to the Big Apple. The program is distributed by Acclaim Theatricals, LLC, broadcast from Manhattan, absolutely free, and we intend to keep it that way. It's without these fees that we can provide forum participants complete access to like-minded individuals who wish to join our forum and are given one less excuse not to take an active role as a concerned citizen. Therefore, we, like your local public access station, will rely on corporate sponsorship to cover administrative costs. We can be contacted at admin@acclaimtheatricals.com or our company site at acclaimtheatricals.com, as well as gregorymikell.com. And if you wish to speak with us to talk about sponsorship or the next topic that you'd like to suggest in our later programming, please give us a call at 562-645-3551 this evening, as well as throughout the work week for queries and again to pose a topic. This is Gregory Mikell saying goodnight.